That, I'm going to turn it over to you, Superintendent Kingsley.
Members of the board, members of our community, good evening. We have several outstanding recognitions this evening honoring our amazing staff and valued community partners. Our Executive Director of Communications, Ms. Madeline Noblet, will lead the recognitions portion of our meeting. Good evening, Madeline.
Hello, there we go. Awkward. All right, I am Madeline Noblet, Executive Director of Communications. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. We are really excited to be able to bring back the board recognitions and honor and call out our colleagues, our students, and community partners for the amazing things that they do in our district every day. It'll be just a moment. We have our first group headed over from the ITC here. So it'll take just one moment for them to get lined up outside so that we make sure we're following distance protocols and whatnot. And then we'll go ahead and get underway with our first recognitions for the evening. So one moment and we will get started.
Tempted to open it up to Nate to tell us a joke, but I'm not sure. Might regret it, so.
Thank you for your patience. This is our first format doing it this way, so I promise we'll have a little bit of better timing here with our next recognitions. Later. Yeah, thanks. All right, so I think we'll go ahead and get started. We have our first pair here that we're excited to welcome, and then we'll go ahead and move into our next 4 recipients of the evening. So to start, we would like to recognize Miss Kathy Bowles, who is with Integrated Services in McGraw Elementary. She's a teacher of the deaf and was recognized with the Colorado Hands and Voices 2021 Families First Award. So very excited to have her here this evening. And she is joined by Integrated Services Director Sarah Ballou. So I'd like to invite both of my colleagues up at this time. We'll hear a few words from Sarah and then be able to recognize Kathy for her outstanding work.
Superintendent Kingsley, Board of Education, Cabinet members, and community members. Thank you for having us this evening. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Ms. Kathy Bowles, our teacher of the deaf and hard of hearing, like Madeline had said, that is with the Integrated Services and works at McGraw Elementary School. It's our pleasure to have Kathy on board with us. She has worked for Poudre School District for 23 years and has been a teacher of the deaf for 28 years. So Kathy is the 2021 award winner for the Family First Award given by Hands and Voices of Colorado, and she was nominated by the Board of Directors from Hands and Voices for her collaborative work with families and the community on behalf of students who are deaf or hard of hearing. So I wanted to read a few things to you about what they said about her. Kathy is a model of collaboration with general education staff and the community at large, including many years of work to bring about a series of fabulous host days as experiences for kids who don't always get the chance to know each other or adults who are deaf or hard of hearing throughout the Northeast. She is an inspiration daily as she gives to students, parents, and peers. I want you to know that Kathy is very well respected within the PSD community as well as the community of Fort Collins for her work. And we just want to say congratulations and thank you for everything you do.
Thank you. I have a deaf colleague that might be watching, so I thought I would sign. Thank you for your time today. I'm very humbled and honored to be nominated by a very special family that have not just one but two deaf kids that I have the privilege of teaching. Hands and Voices is a parent-driven nonprofit organization that fiercely supports families with children who are hard of hearing, deaf-blind, and it's such an honor to be in this passion with very, very skilled sign language interpreters, signing paras, other teachers of the deaf. So thank you for your time, and I'm very, very pleased to be here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lola. Yes. Do you want to come?
Madeline, if you can hang on, the superintendent will join you for the photo as well.
Sure. Absolutely. All right, we have a series of awards. So it's always amazing when we get these groupings of awards because it just signifies how incredible our teams are here. So we have multiple recipients of the Colorado Council of Teachers of Mathematics Excellence in Teaching and Leadership Awards tonight. There are 4. I will go ahead and note that Miss Erin Berg from Olander was not able to attend us this evening, but we want to make sure and just recognize her in case she is watching this later on. So if we could give a round of applause for our colleague. All right, first up, joining us this evening is my colleague, Miss Emily Meersch. She is from Cruz, and her principal, Kirk Samples, is here to be able to introduce her this evening. So go ahead and come on up, and we'd love to celebrate you.
Well, she's been introduced already, but her name is Emily Meersch, and she is our gifted and talented teacher at Cruz Elementary School. She's an amazing teacher. Her kids are fortunate to have her. We're fortunate to have her, and we're very proud of her.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks, Kirk, for nominating me for this award. I can just think of so many colleagues that I've known over the years who are deserving of this award as well, and so I am really honored to be here. I have to thank our amazing district math facilitator, Kelly Shank-Slavic, because I would not be the teacher I am today without her. I don't have a math degree, but I have taken every professional development course that she has offered. Her passion is contagious, and teaching math has just been such a wonderful evolution of teaching for me. I've changed and grown professionally in the math arena for the past 8 years. My degree is actually in literacy. I was an interventionist, and then I taught gifted, and so math is new to me, and I would say I'm not a math person, but then Kelly would slap my hand for that. So little did I know that once I stopped pretending to know everything, that was precisely the time that the students opened up to learning right alongside me. I'm just really thankful to all the students who have been my witnesses, my comrades, and some of my biggest cheerleaders. I also just want to thank my best friend, I just saw her here in the back of the room, who showed up from Longmont, and my family who I insisted that they couldn't come in because it was COVID, and they somehow figured out how to sneak their way in to support me. So because we show up for each other, I show up for my students every day, and thank you all for showing up here tonight for us.
All right, next I'd like to welcome my colleagues, Miss Kathy Sampson and Preston Middle School Principal Amy Schmierer. So if you'd like to come up, and we will recognize you. And then one note to just be real close to this microphone.
Good evening, and nice to see all of you. Thank you, PSD Board of Education, Superintendent Kingsley, and cabinet members. It's always fun to join you to celebrate our wonderful PSD staff. I'm honored to be here with Miss Kathy Sampson, who teaches math and is our math department lead at Preston Middle School. She's been honored with the Colorado Council of Teachers of Mathematics. Kathy is an amazing math teacher who pours her heart and soul into teaching math every single day. Kathy's colleagues say that they are better teachers and people because of her passion, her vision, and her commitment to education. Kathy, thank you for all you do for our Pumas.
Thanks, Amy, and thank you. Thank you for recognizing how hard teachers work. It's an honor to be here, and honestly, I work with incredible educators. I cannot do this alone. I work in a building where we have a math department that is creative, solution-focused, kid-centered, and willing to take risks. So I want to thank you for creating an environment that allows us to do what's best for kids, and thank you for honoring teachers, and thank you for what you do.
I was already reminded and already forgot. Thank you.
It was probably me.
Let's close you. There we go. There we go. Congratulations. All right, last but certainly not least this evening, I'd like to recognize my colleague Alyssa Pitts and welcome up Poudre High School Principal Kathy McKay. So if you'd both like to come up at this time.
Good evening, Poudre School District Board of Education, Poudre School District Cabinet, Superintendent Kingsley. Thank you so much for having us tonight. I am thrilled to recognize Alyssa Pitts for the Colorado Council for Teachers of Mathematics Leadership Award. And I do want to say a few things about her because I know she's so incredibly humble and shy that she probably won't say these things about herself. So, you know, she is one of the most dedicated, reflective practitioners I have ever met. I've attempted many times to recruit her onto the administration, but she's also such a math nerd that she loves math and loves trying to improve outcomes for students in math. When you watch her, she is masterful in her teaching. She has created this culture in her class that is so safe for students to fail. And she knows that using that failure is that teachable moment for growth. And it's just beautiful to watch her continually assess and continually provide opportunities for students to self-assess. It's just beautiful. And so Alyssa has taken on a number of leadership roles in addition to being the department leader. She was instrumental in a lot of the kind of workshop model work that happened at Poudre High School and some of the interventions that we've done at Poudre. You can tell her leadership because both of the past two directors of math curriculum coordinators are past Poudre Impala math teachers. And she also has figured out that not all kids thrive in a traditional math class and that some need that applied math. And so she took a year to audit a woodworking class, a metal shop class, computer science class. She wanted to hold the integrity of the math. She didn't want to just simply give math credit unless she knew what that math credit was. And so she sat in those tech ed classes to learn math. So she truly lives by that mission of educate every child every day. She recognizes that not all students come from a place of privilege. And so she was also instrumental in bringing concurrent enrollment opportunities to pretty much most of our math classes. And so with her leadership, we have become 4th in the state for students participating in concurrent enrollment classes. And that was really her heart, saying it's a lot of work, but it's the right thing for kids because it's tuition free and not all kids can pay for tuition. So I completely agree that she is deserving of this leadership award for CCTM. Congratulations.
So I said I wasn't going to speak, and now I'm here. But I have great people to lead, and it's easy being a good leader when you have great people to lead. And I also have great leaders in front of me that are easy to emulate. So my job's easy because I have them on both sides. So thank you.
All right, thank you so much to everyone. So we'll go ahead, we're gonna switch groups and have this first wonderful group of recipients head out. And then we're going to welcome in our second set of recognitions for the evening. All right, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, so as part of our revamp, if you will, of the Board of Education recognitions, we wanted to make sure that we were really intentional about recognizing our amazing community partners and showcasing all of the unique and important ways that they support our students every day here in PSD. So with that, I'd like to welcome up my colleagues, Assistant Superintendent of Secondary Schools, Scott Nielsen, and Assistant Superintendent of Elementary Schools, Dr. Tracy Guile. They're going to introduce our fabulous partners here, and then we'll welcome them up one by one, invite them to say a few words, and recognize all that they have done.
Good evening, President Fev, board members, Superintendent Kingsley. Thanks for taking some time to recognize some powerful partners that we have in PSD. We have lots that we work with tonight. Dr. Guile and I are going to take some time to recognize a group that helped us a great deal last year as we planned supporting students. The group that's with us tonight not only helped us think through what we did for summer programming, which was much broader than it had been in the past, but this group also sat with us for much of the year last year to think about how we do remote support for students as well. So this group has been we spent a lot of time with these individuals over the last 15 months, and tonight we want to honor this group. First tonight I want to call out Casey Hedrick. She's the executive director from Boys and Girls Club. Last year, as we were trying to make a decision as to how we would support students, Boys and Girls Club stepped up as our representative that really took on a new role with middle school students. And the program Casey set up over the summer had a lot of experiential learning. They did a tremendous amount of work getting the students out into the community to be exposed to different businesses. They spent time learning about careers, learning about what kind of skills you need to be in those careers, but also then bringing that back to the classroom to explore. And you saw when we were with you 2 weeks ago some of the outcomes that those students under the leadership of Casey had as they went through that program. So recognize and honor the work Casey led with Boys and Girls Club.
We just want to say thank you. You know, it wasn't just me, it certainly was a team, but everybody knows how difficult the last 18 months was, and to have a community like we have and leadership that exists here in the district as well as across the nonprofit and for-profit spectrum to come together and to do what was right for kids in a moment of crisis was quite inspiring. And we, I think, learned a lot, and if we can do that, then we can do that in good times too. So just really want to appreciate the recognition, the partnership, and just thank you for your leadership on this too. So thank you.
Sure. Our next celebration tonight is Nicole Armstrong and Lisa Harwell. Nicole is the executive director at the Matthews House. And as we set forward on the vision, Nicole stepped forward early last year as a partner for several of our high schools. She continues to do work, her organization continues to do work with a couple of our high schools currently. And as you saw 2 weeks ago, there was structure around how they had some success with students over the summer, but continue to come alongside us as we speak as a mentor role for students in our high schools, and continue to be visionary, push on some of our practices. We really appreciate the work Nicole and her team has done to build relationships with students both in our schools, but as they come out of our schools and join them on their facility as well. They work really hard to be that strong relationship to help support the academic needs underneath the hood. So I appreciate the work that Nicole and team do. Nicole, you want to come up and speak a little bit?
Thank you, guys. I wanted to say thank you so much for the opportunity to work alongside you all and for us to have the shared commitment. The last 18 months, as Casey was mentioning, we were able to work as a community and work as partners and work as the school district to really come alongside students and to help them all thrive and really look at alternatives, ways for kiddos to learn how to learn and to be able to gain their credits that they lost. We were able to support in that manner and continue to do so through some of the work we are currently doing within a couple of the high schools. So we look forward to continuing that partnership. So thank you all.
Congratulations, and thanks for your partnership.
My third organization or partner tonight we want to recognize is represented by Gary Ozello. He's here tonight representing Canvas Credit Union. Canvas came alongside to do a couple of different things. First of all, they were instrumental in the program that Casey offered a Boys and Girls Club. So I talked a little bit ago about the experiential work that they did. Personal financial literacy was a big part of the program that Casey offered, and it was facilitated almost exclusively by Canvas and a team that Gary and Nancy Patton at Canvas brought together to support all those students. I'll continue to say they're doing the same thing right now for students that are at the Futures Lab, bringing together a large group, helping to support financial literacy for those students that are at the Futures Lab. And so as we celebrate those that helped us get summer going, Gary and team were instrumental in helping support the Boys and Girls Club, but also continue to be a partner in supporting students day to day right now in PSD. Gary?
Thank you, Scott, and thank you for this opportunity. And on behalf of Canvas Credit Union, we have 5 pillars, and really those pillars run parallel to PSD and what PSD is founded upon, and you've heard it here numerous times about walking alongside students, making a difference. But the 2 that come to mind for me are we want to be known for our heart, and we want to be known in the community. And this is about doing whatever we can to have an influence on young people's lives in our community, making a difference. And one of our catchphrases, our marketing phrase is live well. And what we're trying to do is help students live well and learn. So we appreciate the opportunity. We look forward to continued partnership with PSD. For me, it's personal. I'm the father of 2 PSD students who seem to be thriving in their chosen professions, who had incredible educational experiences in PSD. So that means a great deal to me. Thank you.
Good evening. It's my pleasure to introduce Carissa Hutchinson from AlphaBest. AlphaBest was one of our really important community partners in our summer programming at Camp Soul. AlphaBest provided wraparound services for students, so they had a full day of care in addition to the academic portion of their day. They also partnered alongside of us throughout the last 18 months to provide remote learning support centers. They have been instrumental in providing support and training for their own personnel to support the academic growth and development of our students, as well as create a safe place and a sense of belonging, as well as experiential learning opportunities both in Camp Soul and through the remote learning support centers. So Carissa Hutchinson, thank you. Come on up.
Hi, good evening. Thank you guys so much for this recognition. We, as AlphaBest, are one of the newer community partners, and we have absolutely been loving it. We adore the partnership with PSD and are excited to continue for many years to come. And we absolutely love serving the families and our kiddos that come with us, throughout the school year. And this summer was so much fun, and we learned a lot. So we're excited to make this next summer even better, and we're just really happy to be here. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to recognize from the Fort Collins Museum of Discovery, Laura Valdez, the area manager, and Laura Villaret-Tuma is the special projects coordinator. The Fort Collins Museum of Discovery worked with us throughout the planning process for the summer to really figure out how we could bring kids into different experiences in the community, specifically at the museum, how those partnerships could extend our curriculum,
Laura really spent a lot of time looking into our state standards and figuring out how the experiential learning, the exhibits, the opportunities at the museum could coordinate and collaborate with the state standards so our students had that expanded experience. They also provided some great opportunities for kids in our community. Our preschoolers had free access to the museum, and also created some opportunities for our middle schoolers. So again, emphasizing that experiential hands-on learning, that they were an exceptional community partner in coming alongside of us and planning a lot of our summer programming. So Laura Valdez and Laura Villaret-Tuma, come on up.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be recognized, but like so many people here, it certainly was a partnership, and so many people, especially throughout this last 18 months, the refrain that we continue to hear, there are times that we were meeting weekly to really focus on how we could provide the best possible opportunities and chance for success for so many of our students. And to have this wonderful, I don't know that many people will stop and say thank you to especially the team, the staff leadership team that showed up representing the school district in such an incredible way, but they did an amazing job, and we consistently challenged systems that we all had in place and practices that we all had in place to see what barriers we could remove to have the most amount of success for all of our community learners and families and students. Laura here next to me, she's the mastermind behind a lot of the work that happened. And so I'm here representing many people at the Fort Collins Museum of Discovery. We would have had them all here if we could, but gosh darn it, COVID just continues to be in our way sometimes. So just really want to say thank you again for the partnership, for everybody who's here. Thank you for the leadership, and thank you for the support.
And last but not least, our weekly organizer, agenda setter, cheerleader, mastermind behind the summer programming, Sarah Maranowitz, our community programs director from the Bohemian Foundation. She was a big driving force in bringing together our district folks with our community partners, connecting us into envisioning something bigger than what we thought we could imagine and what we could pull off. And really through her leadership in coordination with Kate Canine and our system, that they pulled us together into creating something pretty magnificent for our kids this past summer. So I appreciate your leadership. Thank you, Sarah. Come on up.
Hi, everybody. I followed the rules. I stood where I was supposed to. So I want to take a couple minutes and on behalf of Bohemian Foundation say thank you to everybody in this room, because so much really powerful, inspiring work happened behind the scenes around the clock so that our community could really support every student and every family during a really difficult time. As folks have said, the pandemic has pushed us to move beyond business as usual. And I have to tell a funny story. I wasn't sure I was going to do it, but Dave, I'm putting you on the spot. We asked a lot of people well outside of their roles, come together, let's put our best thinking together. I accidentally invited Dave to about 100 meetings that he was not supposed to be at, but he said yes to every one of them. Like, all right, what else can we get done? And it's just a signal of when we say yes to leading with our hearts and minds and all the best information to support kids, we can do pretty amazing things. I also have to recognize and just, let's not sugarcoat that community partnership is not easy. It is easier to go alone, and it will never build on all of our strengths. So I want to recognize all the leaders in the room and many who didn't show up tonight, but to recognize that as leaders of their own organizations, they were navigating really insurmountable changes within their own organizations during very uncertain times for their staff, for their finances, for everything that they were sort of put in charge of making sure our community could navigate. So kudos to all of you, and I'm really excited about what we can do together, and I think the future is bright. The challenges ahead are real, and I know that we can double down, especially if we just invite Dave to every meeting moving forward. So thank you. Congratulations. All right, thank you to everyone who joined us this evening. It was so nice to take time out and say thank you. So with that, we'll go ahead and let our guests get home, and we'll move on. I'll turn it back over to President Fev, and we'll get on with the rest of the agenda. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Madeline, for organizing this and bringing back our recognition. It's such an important part of what we're doing.